Hello, my name is Daniel. Today, I'm going to be taking you through the Automated Task Manager. This tool can be used in human resource mainly. It could be used for planning, can be used for supervision, can be used as an accountability tool, and it can also be used as a reporting tool. So first, I'm going to take you through the layout of the system. The system is basically laid out into three major parts. That is the timetable, the ideas or activities journal, and the daily activity checklist. The journal mainly tracks future activities, and in this case, the future begins tomorrow. Any activity or task that you need to embark on starting tomorrow, that activity qualifies to be put on the journal. So that when that date comes, which is tomorrow or next week or next month, then you'll be able to see that activity, and the activity can be transferred to the daily activity list. The daily activity checklist or task list is where we record activities that are supposed to be performed on a daily basis. These activities are segmented into regular activities and irregular activities. Using this tool would make your productivity shoot through the roof because you'd start the day fired up, knowing what you need to do, at what time you need to do it. Do you have to follow the times religiously? The answer is no. We say that any plan or any sort of plan is better than no plan at all. So without further ado, let's get into how you can maneuver with this system. So I'll start with this particular day. As you can see, the days are segmented in such a manner. Right now, when I scroll up, I'm looking at Monday. I'll start by clicking in this cell, then press Ctrl:, as the instructions say. And I'll start putting the activities here that I'm supposed to perform. This could be in the morning, or it could be the evening before. I'm going to use an activity of an accountant as an example. For example, activity number 1 could be perform bank reconciliation. This activity is irregular because you don't perform bank reconciliation every day. So then the function is going to be accounting. The priority is going to be high. The weight is 5. The weight can be from 1 to 5. We have income gen here, which is basically 2 of them. And activities is either income generating activity, IGA, or non-income generating activity, NIGA. For example, when you look at performing bank reconciliation, realistically, this does not really bring money to our bank account. So we'll label that a NIGA activity. Probably I'm planning to take 60 minutes to perform this. I need to type 60 only, and the word minutes magically appears. I put the time here upon which I'm planning to start this activity. So I'm making this activity my first activity. For now, I'll skip the status. It's automated, by the way, and then move to the due date. For the due date, which is today, I'll press Ctrl:, and that calls the due date. We have this column here. This column is basically for the supervisor. The supervisor would look at this particular activity, and if they are satisfied with what they've seen, they will mark this activity verified, and it will bring that green color, or they will mark the activity unverified, press Shift F2 on the keyboard, and put a comment why this activity is unverified or not verified. Let's go on, entering the other activities. Our second activity is going to be process accounts receivable. I can go on and first enter all the activities and then move to the right and enter the other data. We can have more activities, but for now, let's first settle with those 8 activities. Prepare, process accounts receivable, that is a regular activity, but it can also be irregular depending. And then handle accounts payable, the same. Press Ctrl D to fill that down. Execute payroll processing, maybe this is a one activity performed at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month, depending, so that's irregular. We have generate financial report for last quarter. That is an irregular activity. Prepare tax documents. This is irregular. Record income and expenses. This is a regular activity. Conduct internal audit. This is also irregular. Yeah, let's go with that irregular one. But in real sense, we'll be having more regular activities than irregular activities. These processing accounts receivable, this falls under, it falls under accounting. This is also accounting. Execute payroll processing. This is going to be under accounting. Literally, all these fall under accounting. But it's possible to have some activity that are not under accounting. So you label here accordingly. If an activity is moderate, you label it moderate. It's low priority, you label it low. If it's high, you label it high, as you feel fit. And then the weight, we go from 1 up to 5. Maybe this is a 3 and this is a 5 and so forth. Most likely these, let's see, process accounts receivable. This is going to be eager income generating activity, because when accounts receivable is processed, chances are very many that the debtors are going to pay in money and money will hit our bank account. Of course, things like payroll and all that, all those are eager activities. Why do we put this? This is put mainly to be able to know, as employees of the company, do we perform more eager or non-income generating activities, or do we perform more eager activities? I'm going to come up with random times here. Like I mentioned earlier, we only put minutes. So basically we type it in minutes and you see the automation is taking place. Most of the things here are automated. One thing you notice that the time has been generated automatically. There is a formula there that is speaking these times beginning from the first one, meaning that you only type the first time here. The statuses are also populated completed, but that changes. For example, when I come here and I put a 0, that is going to change into not started. 0 means the activity is not started. You had planned to start on it on that day, but for some random reasons, you were not able to start on it. Then we come to the dates here. For interest sake, let's put a future date here. For example, I can put 30th. You see that one has been labeled automatically in progress. So any activity with a future date will be labeled automatically in progress. We have pending and all those, but for now, let's put today's date here. We shall go on and put today's date here also and drag this down. So the preparation there for the activity list or the task list is done. What remains to be done now is to start performing this activity and waiting to update the system in the evening or at that time before we finish the work for the day. Now let's move on to the journal. Remember, we said that the journal captures future activities. For example, my supervisor has given me an assignment, and that assignment is to reconcile sales in QuickBooks. So I'll come here and put number 5, I'll press Ctrl: to register today's date. I write the activity here. Moving on, this particular status will be left empty. This is given to me by my supervisor. It could also be me. It could be an activity generated by me or an idea. As you see here, it says that ideas and activity journal. Anything that I need to perform in the future would qualify to be on the journal. Right here, I have the importance or urgency. How important is this activity? This activity can be important and urgent. It can be important but not urgent. It can be urgent but not important. It can be not important and not urgent. You notice that these ones are going to be very few. Let's label this one important and urgent because the cells must be reconciled in QuickBooks. You would put the week here when you plan to start on this activity. Basically, the automated task manager is laid out mainly in weeks. So I'm going to put week 35 here. We are currently in week 35, but normally it will be a future week, maybe next week, but it could also be this week. I'll put the date here. For example, I can put 28th. What is the estimated time for me to complete this activity? Maybe 90 minutes. Here you also type only the number, not the word minutes. What's the time frame? How long would it take? Because it could be something where I'm going to spend 90 minutes every day for 3 days. Let's say for 2 days. I'll spend 90 minutes reconciling cells in QuickBooks for 2 days. Then what's the deadline? Of course, if it's 2 days and it starts on 28th, the deadline is going to be 30th of August. What is the expected output? It's going to be a report. I would write a report to my supervisor informing them about the progress of the report. So that's how you do it. Now let's say that 28th has arrived, you're in week 35, and you want to bring all the activities you planned to perform on 28th August. You would simply just come here and click this button. And this button will go to the journal and the magic happens and pulls all the activities that are due on that day that you plan to start on 28th. So there you start performing your activities. When the evening comes, you simply come here, you press Shift F2. You can expand the comment and you start reporting. For example, you can say, I'm happy to report that the Equity Bank account has been reconciled. Nice and short reports. There's no beating around the bush. There is no jargon. You do that for all the activities. Like I mentioned earlier, if you come here and you had planned to perform this activity, but for some random reason you did not perform it, you can just put a 0 and the activity would be marked not started. Now let's say next week, it's Monday, week 36. Do you have to type all the activities again? The answer is no. All you need to do is to come here and click there, press Ctrl: to capture that day of that Monday. Of course, now it is 28th, that's why it's bringing 28th, but it will capture the date that is registered on the date of your computer. So when I press here, all the activities of last week are going to be pulled automatically, but guess what? Even the comment templates are going to be entered automatically. So here you can adjust, of course, and remove some activities, most especially the irregular activity. Let's say this participate in mergers and acquisition meeting. Maybe it's not happening today. You just highlight like that and delete that one. Also delete the comment. They conduct internal audit. Probably you finish that one also. You delete that and you come here and you click delete. Now you look at the numbers to ensure that they're moving chronologically. Here, yes, they do. Not actually, but it can still sort. You come and click the sort button and the gaps are removed. You just drag this one like that and you start performing. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this tool would be of use and of great value to your organization in the human resource department.